Hello, everybody. I'm back. It's Marci from wavesofcommunication.com. I'm here with another energy focus video for you. So I was gone last week on vacation and I'm back with it. And as always, we've got some big energy going on. We've been talking about this all along. And so as I get into today's topic, let's just talk about that. So the theme for this week's energy focus update. Like I said, I'll tell you all about it, but we're getting into new foundations because Taurus season begins literally today. And that means that we're moving out of Aries season where there was a lot of action going on, maybe a lot of interest, a lot of inspiration because we've had Pisces into Aries, and with all of the planetary situation, there's just a lot going on right now. We've got Uranus in play, we've got Pluto in play, we've got this big Saturn in Aquarius that's been getting us to rethink and redo for a long time now, over a year now, since 2020. So if you can think about what's been going on from mid 2020, these things are going to be starting to be activating now, moving into Taurus season because the big eclipses are coming in Taurus. Now, we're gearing up for it, but it is time to lay new foundations. You have been learning, you have been looking, you have been trial and erroring. You've been investigating. You've been thinking. You've been using your intuition. You've been figuring out what works for you. And you've been connecting with the right resources. That's what's been going on since the beginning of the year. And now it is time to get these foundations laid. So, as I always talk about on these videos, it's not just astrology we talk about on Energy Focus. I talk about three things. I talk about the astrology, and it's very, very exciting because we are getting new things started. I myself am getting started new. I finally am finding the way to get my workbooks published in India on paperback. I'm getting started with that, and because it makes sense. Taurus season is about tangibles, about what we can see in the 3D world. We've been thinking about ideas, but it's time to make it happen. So if you've only been able to access the book so far, either one of my books, I'll show you what they look like now, so you can get ready. If it isn't fun, it isn't fun. And the workbook, the 11-week journey to shift behavior into speaking, I'm working on transferring those books into paperback instead of just the ebook Kindle, which is what Saturn and Aquarius has had us restricted to do. But I'm finding a way. I found a publisher that is willing to get this book into your hands. So stay tuned about that. I'm also going to be doing a conference. I'm submitting to do a talk at a conference in August. I'm laying foundations for expansion of my dreams. Jupiter-Neptune conjunction. We just had it. I know waves of communication is really important. I know this information is important to everybody. So I'm doing everything I can now to set the foundations for the future. And I want the same for you. So just like the astrology is helping me expand waves of communication, it is designed to help you expand your language facilitation journey. Whatever you've been working on, whatever you've been planning and trial and erroring up until now, it's time to set the best foundations, the new foundations, the foundations we've never seen before, because we're going to be talking about the eclipse next week. But it is time for the better new, not just getting back to what we used to, where a lot of people might be tempted as we're getting things opened up to go back to what it was at the beginning of, middle of 2020. But what was breaking down for us in 2020 is what you spent that whole period of time trying to figure out how to do better. And now that things are opening back up, you have a choice about how you move forward. So these are, moving into the next part of this video, the top 3 videos from the Waves of Communication platform that will help you. No matter where you are in your process, you're going to find one of these videos is going to be able to help you move into your new foundation. So here's the first video. I got the graphics, and below in the description box are the links to these videos. And here's the first one. It is the 6-step plan to solve problems using moon cycles. It might be a new way for you to do it. And this video is actually 3 years old. So I was putting this together at a time when I was making a lot of evolution, and it has worked. This is one of the great things about astrology. And when we look at things like eclipse seasons and we look at the cycles of how things happen, when you look at what was happening over past period of times and you use these moon cycles like the eclipses we're going to be talking about. Now, there are some really good strategies in that video that are going to help you to pay attention when I say that, when I talk about what's going on with the moon right now. And we just had this big full moon in Libra lighting up all this air sign stuff that's going on for us. So now you can go ahead and look at that video in the description to learn, when you're done looking here, to learn about how to work with moon cycles yourself, specifically for language facilitation. All right, now the second video that I have recommended for you this week is this one. It's called 7 Tips to Create Your Home Language Facilitation Plan. And I made this video back when about this time in 2020, when we realized that a lot of people would be not there, able to take their kids out to therapies. Now, if you've got the workbook, if you've been starting with me so far, even following me for a little while now, and I've done some trial and error of your own, this is where you're going to want to develop your step-by-step plan. You can use that video with your workbook, and it's basically the same process that I guide people through when I work with them as clients. So if you're not working with me as a client, you can use that. If you are working with me as a client, then you can use that video to refresh your plan. And then here's the third video that I have for you. Remember, thinking about this is the time to lay the best foundations for your better future. We're not going back to the old. It is done. We are moving forward into the better things that you have investigated. And here's the video. It is 5 steps to get your plan restarted when you feel stuck, because that's a lot of what happened. Remember, back then when things shut down due to the pandemic and all the resources that you were used to relying upon suddenly weren't available for you, the way they're coming back is not the same way they used to be. And they may be showing you that they are or are not able to help you. You're the one that's going to be able to identify that. And this video that I just shared with you is what helps you pick out the best of your experiences and dig in and use those instead of just focusing on, I know what I don't want, right? Because that failed me. And that's all you can think about is, well, I don't know what else to do. That's how these videos will help you move forward. And like I said, it's good that the old things have fallen down. It might not feel very nice when things break down or fall away or therapists quit or they move. I mean, it's not just the pandemic that is causing things to break down. Now that things are opening back up again, even therapists, you wouldn't believe. I mean, while I was gone on vacation, those of you who watched my channel who've been subscribers, you saw that I have been connecting with other professionals who are not working in the system at all. And still, they are helping people all over the world find amazing success in all different kinds of areas that are sort of related to language facilitation. That's why I bring them on the channel to remind you I'm not the only one out here that's equipping and empowering you as the parents, to become the primary language facilitator. You don't have to be, I help the therapist help my kid. The therapist helps you. The teachers help you. The coaches, the school teachers, the music teachers, the coaches, the athletic coaches, they help you raise your child into a well-rounded, responsible, talking chatterbox, because right now they're just evolving all of this. They're not wanting to be stuck. They want to keep evolving. They're feeling the same energy that everyone is. So that's what's so great about all of this, okay? So, all right, let's see. Hey, Whitley's here. I met you on the cruise ship. I'm so glad you're joining me. And you're going to find tons of resources on this channel. I'm so glad to meet you. That's what I did, you guys, on the cruise ship. I was meeting people and talking about language facilitation and just equipping and empowering people to join me. All right, so now we've done the first part. We've done the astrology. We talked about the astrology. We've talked about the top 3 videos on the Waves of Communication channel that will help you get started, especially you, Whitley, because you're just getting started with the platform. These videos will really help you. And then you're going to find tons more, I'm sure, that you're going to find as well. But then also, I want to talk about, as always, my language facilitation inspiration cards, because I have, as always, selected one of those cards for you this week to tie in with these energies. And let me see if I can find it here. It's one I haven't talked about a whole lot before, but I've got to find them. I've got them all separated in my category here to see if I can find it. Goodness, where is it? Anyway, I'll tell you what, let's just pull one for real. I've got the deck right here. So my language facilitation inspiration cards, everybody, let me just pull up over here so I can show you. They are available in the description box below. You can find the link to them. There's not tons of them around, but I do have a few left, and I'll probably be reprinting them, and I'm also considering printing them into a book. That's the other thing that I'm thinking about. So if you are interested, let's just dig in right now and do a little card reading for anybody who wants. So if you are following, in fact, Whitney, who already made a comment, let me see. Yep. I'm just going to go ahead and pull a card for Whitney. Now, I know Whitney's got a little one who actually has a lot of words, but often chooses not to use them, because what happened was I overheard them having a little communication moment, and the mom, Whitney, actually said out loud, "I can't wait for you to start talking," which was sort of my sign from the universe to go ahead and say hello and introduce her and talk, introduce my channel and talk about what I do. But what was remarkable was when this late talker was communicating with his mom, he was using nonverbal communication. He was using gestures, and he was using the screeching habit that she had mentioned that he falls into. And so what was remarkable was when I was sort of overhearing and eavesdropping, honestly, I can't help it. I watch families everywhere. So if you're around me and you're a family, get used to it. I can't help but observe you, because I learn from everyone I'm around. Anyway, so I was observing this interaction, and she went ahead and responded non-verbally to her late talker's nonverbal communication. She never facilitated the spoken language to help him expand what he was doing. And then when she said out loud, "I wish you would start talking," it was just like the universe saying, "Go on over and talk to her." So, and of course, she was happy that I did that. And, usually I'm not too pushy, but it worked out okay. And what was so remarkable was the first thing that happened was this little guy looked right at me, right in the face, and said, "I got pizza." He said a 3-word phrase to me. And he didn't know me. I never met him at all. I never saw, I might have observed them around on the ship, but this is the first real interaction I've ever had with them. I sat down next to him. I said hi. I told him I liked it. Wow, hello. And then all of a sudden, he says to me, "I got pizza." So I was just explaining to her how her late talker is in the habit of just responding, communicating with her nonverbal, and she's in the habit of responding to him nonverbally, and they're just in their own little intuitive bubble, and they do all that and they do it their way. And then what happened was I was just like, look, all you got to do is just say what you're thinking out loud and just kind of do it out loud and think about it that way. And then guess what happened? Look, here's what she says. I've already seen a difference in Gianni. The more communication I give him is so helpful. And she didn't even realize, bless your heart, Whitney. I am so pleased that you joined me to share this experience, because this is what happens to parents all over. And then the other thing that we talked about too is that, they're on the cruise ship. Here she was with her late talker, and who was doing a lot of nonverbal communication. And she was feeling quite embarrassed because his nonverbal communication, this screeching thing he did, was, upsetting some of the other people. There were older couples on this cruise, and they didn't want to hear a little guy screaming. And so every time she would kind of react and respond to that screaming, she was getting dirty looks from people. And so what's so interesting is when I was just talking to her about how she was responding, I just was kind of mirroring what I saw. She was like, oh, she figured it out for herself. I never said what he was asking for. I never said those words out loud. I just knew. I just always know what he wants, and I just respond. And now that she's aware, and that's what all of this is about. Once she became aware that all she had to do is start thinking, okay, I know he's getting me. I know I'm getting him. Now I'm just going to say it out loud. Now I'm just going to give those extra recommendations. And already she's seen a difference in how he's doing it. And I'll bet that screeching is decreasing. Bravo. So that's how easy it is, everybody. If you're watching this video for the first time, if you're just joining me for the first time, it's not that hard to make little changes and see really nice proof of how of maybe a few more little changes might get you where you're going, because you're the one, you're controlling the whole process. All right, pulling a card out of here for Whitney in the middle. Oh, look, it's so funny. Food inspires me. And that's what we were talking about on the cruise ship. That's the thing he said to me is, I got pizza. So look at this card. It's not one that we've seen on here. On the front of the card, you see the image. And then there's also a little graphic over here, a chef's hat. There goes the focusing. And it says, food inspires me. So look at this little guy. It looks like your little guy. If he grew up a little bit, this almost looks just like him, doesn't it? How funny. And he's really into food too. So the inspiration cards, the first thing on the top is the inspired action, right? So the first thing you do is teach through cooking. And this is what, remember, the first on the front, these are messages from the lay talker. So Giovanni, he wants you to teach him through cooking. He doesn't want you to just get him food. In fact, he was putting ketchup on pizza. He was himself being a little chef. He was altering the flavor of his own food based on his own palate. And he wants you, in fact, that's exactly what we did, was we talked about how he was asking you for ketchup and you gave him the ketchup and he put the ketchup on his pizza. And then he told me, I got pizza. And he meant I got pizza with ketchup that I put on it myself, that I did it myself. So we were teaching through cooking just like that, just like that. The card says, everyday food prep is a prime opportunity for late talkers to learn functional skills and speech surrounding cooking and eating. You can't even make this up. How could we pull this out of the middle of the card, Whitney? That is so funny. I love this. I just love that. And so glad we're connecting. How amazing, right? So it says here now, these are the tips. Identify safety by showing which kitchen utensils are okay for them to use, and the ones that are okay, like you can use this one, but I get, mommy gets the sharp knives, you get the spoons kind of thing. And then actually, I've got lots of families who are actually teaching their kids. They want to use the big utensils. So they want to learn to chop veggies and things like that. So maybe, you can think that your little guy's a wild child, but you get him in the kitchen and he can suddenly focus and use sharp knives even. So this is potentially room for you to expand your little guy's knowledge, because it could be part of why he's frustrated is because he's too limited and very simple basic stuff. And he is super, super smart. And he knows a lot more speech than he's using, because when he sat down with me, who was a stranger, he knew I couldn't read his mind. And guess what he pulled out? Beautiful words for me. So you want him to pull out beautiful words for you. So you got to empower him to do that. Now, you're going to demonstrate how to hold and use these utensils, right? And do it properly, very step by step, just like you are a YouTube channel. Show and demonstrate first, and then let him try. Don't go ahead right away. We're going to cut and do hand over hand. Always give a demonstration first, because you don't realize how much these late talkers have been observing you. How did he figure out how to put ketchup on pizza in the first place? He saw people putting ketchup on French fries. He likes ketchup on other things. Suddenly he was like, pizza. And maybe there was a pizza he didn't like, and he put ketchup to make it better, right? He has a reason for doing all of the quirky little things that he does. All of us do. We all do. And so it's up to you to look beyond just what is he doing, putting ketchup on pizza, to why is he putting ketchup on pizza, and why is he putting on this pizza? Why is he putting that ketchup on this pizza, down to that specific, okay? And because he's already old enough to really understand all of this. He could completely understand all of our whole conversation about how you hadn't talked to him. And remember, what these late talkers want more than anything is for you to talk more. That's what they want. Okay, so the other thing is coach through preparing easy snacks like ketchup on pizza and assisting the cook, just like you did. You gave him the ketchup. He's the one that smeared it on and ate it. So that is what's so amazing, right? I know, that's so funny. So here's what Whitney says. She says, yes, say what you're thinking out loud, OMG. And she says, it's really hard. It's not hard. It's not hard at all. You can do this. And what's so amazing is that your late talker loves it, and that's why you love it too, right? That's it. So that's the whole thing. And yeah, so let's see what this says. We're changing and getting better together. That's right. You see, because he wants to be better, and so do you, and so do the people around you. Even these people that were giving you dirty looks on the cruise, they want you to be better. They just don't know how to help you. I'm the one that knows how to help you, and that's why I invaded your little dinner time and talk to you a little bit about language facilitation. And hopefully you'll be able to share this with other people too. So, all right, what an amazing energy focused video. I just love how the universe connects me with people. It's just a real good reminder that what we're doing here on the Waves of Communication channel is bigger than just helping kids start talking. Right? Just like Whitney says, we are changing and getting better together. That is what Taurus season is all about. That is what all the learning and following and trial and errors and all the things that you've been doing up until now. You don't beat yourself up about it. You celebrate it. You use it. Use the stuff, because I'll tell you what, there was nothing but a lot of learning going on. There was maybe not a lot of progress, or maybe a lot of progress, because I'll tell you what, the people who followed my channel and, at the beginning of the pandemic were already realizing that their therapies were breaking down and they had more in it themselves. Through the pandemic, they didn't suffer at all. In fact, so many parents took their kids back to school after it opened up, after the lockdown, that 18 months where everything was shut down, with better skills. Within months, their kids had met all of their goals for speech therapy and their IEP things, because their parents facilitated not in a structured way. They facilitated in a natural way. And maybe the kid didn't learn about school things. They didn't learn about the school schedule or the rules or things like that. But they learned about the schedule at home. They learned about the rules at home. They learned about the skills at home, like cooking and getting dressed and brushing their own teeth and potty training. And maybe they even learned another skill like riding a bike or playing an instrument or, solving solving puzzles in a little bit more way, or maybe they excelled in some technology on their phone. Like that's what they gave them one game and they were starting to play some video game and they made it past even where you can do. These kids and the parents that were there during the pandemic, they took advantage of the opportunity to connect with their kids and teach them what they needed to know. So that's what I'm encouraging you to do this week. It's Taurus season. Next week, the triggers are going to be coming. The triggers are going to be coming. If you don't slide in and use the energy and use the information, all that learning that you did into something new, the universe is going to bring it again. This is your opportunity, and it's not going to come around like this again for a long, long time. So it's a great, perfect opportunity to establish your new foundations. And that's the topic of this video. Now, don't forget to join me tomorrow for live Q&A. We're going to be getting back into it, where you're going to be able to join me every Thursday for live Q&A, very much kind of like Whitney did today, and experience a little coaching for yourself so you can find out how easy it is for you to get started toward your better outcomes yourself. Okay, everybody. Thanks again for joining me for another language facilitation energy focus video. My name is Marci Melzer from wavesofcommunication.com. Please like this video, comment about your current new plan that you've got going on now, and share the information about Waves of Communication with your friends, because that's how we expand. That's how more and more parents become empowered, more and more kids start talking, and we learn their wisdom, because that's what we enable everybody to do here, is help these kids share their wisdom with the world, because they're super smart and we got stuff to learn. Thanks again for joining me, everybody, and I'll see you all on the next one. Bye for now.